Hey everybody, welcome back to the Spinner Rack. I'm here with my boys, Petey and Cal. Say what's up, brothers.
What's going on?
Hey yo, ready to rock?
Today we're looking at the fact that there's been multiple stories on whether Superman was successful or not, even from the same publication title here. Don't want to really name it out loud because once again, that's another place we
Forbes.
have our
You
have our
don't have a
resumes.
It
resume
was
in the
Forbes.
Forbes.
So
You definitely don't have a
It
resume
was
in the
Forbes.
Forbes.
Cal has something he wants to bring up. I will summarize later. But for now, Cal, what is your contention here that you're saying that this unnamed publication is saying or doing?
Well, the unnamed publication is Forbes. Right? We already did this a while ago because Forbes came out and was like, did James Gunn Superman make a profit? And then they put out numbers too. They were like, well, this is probably the budget, and they didn't make the numbers, and because of that, they didn't make any money. And the YouTubers who hate went wild. Every other thing I saw was flop, flop, flop. Superman flopped. It flopped. It flopped. James Gunn. They're gonna get rid of him. They're gonna bring back Zack Snyder. Hashtag bring back uh Henry
Snyder.
Cavill. That's what we saw. Now this is the same, but this is the same entity. This is Forbes saying, "Oh no, oh no, James Gunn Superman made a profit, over $100 million in profit." So how do you square that, Forbes? How do you square it? And I again give credit to Petey because Petey was the one who said, "What are you guys talking about? There's no 50-50 split with this money. These guys come over here and like, what? No, I'm taking this money. You get whatever I give you. That's it." The first week is what? The first week is like a 95%,
Yeah.
5% split, and then it goes like 5% every week. And it wasn't in theaters that long for it. I don't think it was in theaters long enough to ever get to a 50% split. So they were making money on all the other stuff, popcorn bucket, that type of stuff. That's where they were making their money. They were not making their money on these ticket sales. The worst one that I saw was they were estimating that they spent $425 million to make the Superman movie. And I said they would have to be less than stupid to make a movie for that much money. Because that means you've got to make $1 billion in order to be profitable. That's the only safe way. So the numbers were all over the place at the end of the day. But now you had Forbes say one thing. Now Forbes is saying something else. I got my eyes square at you, Forbes. You bunch of haters. Haters.
Well, I would also say I don't necessarily say there's a lot of mistaken analysis out about Gunn, DCU, and Superman. Yes, we know some websites they're talking about this outside of them when it was they were part of it. So it's like, but then the other thing is like, say, if I was to say, try to say something nice about Marz, and I started with a whole bunch of ton of insults and say, no, none of that's true. He is a nice guy. I've led most of it with all the insults and then with the nice guy. What am I trying to say? That's the hard part with Forbes here is to start with all this information, but then point out, yeah, it did make money. It's like it's still getting for the algorithm, you're still getting that word out for the people. So you hear it, and at the same time, it's there's a casual reader. It's like the same as if when they talk about Denzel and who he would sleep with, and people would say, this is the article where he said he wouldn't sleep with this person or that person. I was like, that's not what he said. He said there's a particular audience that will ask for the scene to be cut if they see it. And he said, well, I will make the decision on a movie basis whether I do it. So they're counting on us to kind of glance through and pick it. But they did lead with saying DCU has super success, which is good. So, but it's kind of odd having it's like the last thing I'll say is my mother sent me something from Greensboro, Georgia, where they were celebrating this policeman, and they said, and my mother put a little smile on it, and and he said such and such awarded this, and the next thing you know, you turn the page later, she sent me the other thing with a sad face. The same police guy is in trouble for doing something wrong, and I put it online. And people got it. People actually, I was like, usually do something that small and put it on Instagram, and people cracked up, and it's like, and it's like the smiley face your mom put on there, that
I,
sort of thing. So,
I think I saw the article piece, so yeah, I think that's interesting there. I'm with you on that one. They buried it, right? So look, I think this is a very simple thing to explain, Cal and Forbes. Of course, we don't want to offend anybody. So what happened here is that those are two different articles that came out. One was by a contributor, not a staff writer, but by a contributor named Tim Lammers, right? And the other one was by another Forbes contributor, Mark Hughes, but he is actually the financial contributor. He primarily focuses on film analysis, film details, and the economics of film. And so the first one came out, and the analysis of how they were calculating it was different from what was the second guy came out. When he came out with his analysis, he broke down total revenue, which showed entertainments for both the media, the digital sales, the streaming, the merchandising. And so it was corrected. It wasn't corrected at the time, and you're right, it was missed because they were looking basically at the theatrical loss. And that's what he actually says in the article, theatrical loss. But this guy comes back and said, you got to look at it all. It's just not one thing. It's a more comprehensive look at.
No, I still go by what we said the first time, because you're saying theatrical loss as if they lost money at the theater. That would be a $425 million movie budgeted. But the guy who did the article was going like there was some 50-50 split. If you just go by the domestic gross, which was over $325 million, you got your money back there. Because again, it was never 50-50. These guys are going by this whole logic of, okay, if you spend 350, you got to make 700 million because the theater's getting half. And that's not how it works. That was the flaw in the math they were doing.
Flawed, and no one's disagreeing. It is profitable. In fact, Forbes came back, and again, Forbes, remember, we're backing you on this. They came back and said that they expect it to be even more than $100 million. They think it's going to be approaching 150 million. And on top of that, with all the ancillary revenues coming in, that it will surpass the key word, pass, Man of Steel. Okay, so therefore, you should definitely be happy about that. It will beat the Zack Snyder movie. Something that you have had.
I was never a person who wanted it. I never saw Man of Steel and Superman 2025 as competitors. I never saw that. Man of Steel had its time. It made its money. Okay. I would have loved for this film to have gone $1 billion, but then, I had to say, wait a second, that's unrealistic. What does it need to do? And I was able to, come out, be a little bit more grounded in terms of it. But if this movie went over here and totally trounced Man of Steel, what does that do? It's still Superman at the end of the day. It's still part of the whole thing. I did not like Man of Steel. Everybody knows it. I'm already on record for it, but I'm not looking for one Superman movie to beat up the other one. So that wasn't me. These guys who are over here doing this stuff are not Superman fans. They're just fans of that particular iteration. So I was never there where it was like, hey, I'm hoping this surpasses Man of Steel. I wanted it to be successful in its own right, but it didn't have to come over there and beat up Man of Steel for me.
Well, I'm just saying that aren't you happy that the revenues are going to be more successful than you thought before? It's even surpassing the 100 million, and it will be more profitable than Man of Steel, therefore making the likelihood of them coming out with a second, possibly the third movie in the trilogy.
I already knew this when I was looking at the numbers. When I looked at the numbers and saw that it made more domestically than Jurassic World Rebirth, then I said, okay, it's fine. It's gonna be profitable. It's gonna do its numbers. I don't have an issue with that. And I'm also somebody who understands how the split works with the movie theaters. So, I'm not a writer for Forbes. Maybe they should hit me up, resume. But I'm not a writer for Forbes or anything, but I do know how these splits work. So when the person did this, I'm like, how are they getting this out? And even if this person is not on staff, it's still Forbes. Forbes is still at the masthead when they put this stuff out. So they know what they're doing.
I'm not going to stand here and defend Forbes, but I will say that in a busy schedule, what's happening is that they're going through the writers and they think that this is okay. And when they get some feedback from intelligent customers such as yourself, readers who come back and say, hey, I think these numbers are wrong, they did the right thing and they addressed this and corrected it and had someone who specialized in it. So I don't think there is no smoking gun here. There is nothing being hid. There is no conspiracy. Forbes did the right thing. Okay. So
I think Forbes heard from Warner Brothers like, hey, you want another interview? You better correct those numbers.
That's not
correct those numbers with this nonsense you're doing here.
Does not, and I repeat, does not impact what the free media will say. Okay, we're not saying things like that. They're not selling. They're not. The media is not. The studio is not selling access to get good press. That's not what the media does. So please, control yourself. All right.
This is going ridiculous. The thing is, the point of this thing is they had an article under their brand that was wrong. It was disingenuous, and it was
presented. And they addressed it, Petey.
They're not addressing it. Addressing it is saying that the person, this is a retraction. This is not a retraction. It's saying that multiple places said that. Maybe Forbes was the one who said it, and everyone picked that and spread it all like wildfire. It's always like, well, somebody.
That's exactly what happened. That's exactly what happened.
We're beating the dead horse, gentlemen. We're beating the horse. The horse is not only beaten into the ground, is going underground now. All right. Forbes is apologized.
You must want a job at Forbes. It must not be us. It's you. You can see yourself.
Yeah, I don't
assessing things because the comic book, they're not bringing us in there for doing comic book, saying how much things are worth, and have to wave our fingers at dummies saying that, oh, they got to split 50-50 with the theaters, and we're basically putting it out there and just saying the fuzzy math. That's what I said 3 million times in the thing. It just drives me crazy. So I'm sorry.
You're not sorry. You're not sorry. You're sorry, not sorry. That's what you are. Sorry, not sorry. All right. Yeah. All right. I accept your apology, but we're concluding this. I'll give a final sentence to sum up what went on right here today.
James Gunn did a successful Superman movie, and Forbes is now appreciating it. Instead of licking the boot of Disney and saying that Disney shows are successful when they're not, they finally announcing that the DC movie did well. We already did another Forbes. We did 3 Forbes things. This is our 3rd one. We did the one with the successful, and they had like Kamala Khan is number 2. When it was like the least, they're talking about critics. So the critics
we're not critics, exactly. So we're not rehashing the past.
We're rehashing that they're promoting Marvel and saying you should go back and see Kamala Khan because the critics loved it. You guys like critics, right? Well,
I like Kamala Khan. I have no problem.
You did not like Kamala Khan.
Yes,
don't lie. Did like Kamala Khan.
I like Kamala Khan.
You don't even like Jersey. Why would you like that? You don't even like Jersey. How many times did you complain about Jersey?
That's true. What do you call it? Dirty Jers.
Yeah,
Dirty Jers.
Yo, what are you guys trying to do? What are you guys trying to do? Okay. I can't believe you guys are even saying things like that. I refute what you guys said. I refute it. Okay.
Dirty Jers. So
I was somebody else talking like my evil brother Wario or something, but it clearly was not coming out of my lips.
Okay? And they were smart. They put all of the shows together. They didn't say, hey, like these ones came from here and these ones came from there. They're like, here's what everything, because you're gonna go to the app so you can see all of their shows in one place. So I felt in my opinion, I felt it was kind of like they were in Disney's pocket by kind of doing that. Or as the writer itself. The writer itself may have been. Maybe not Forbes, but the writer itself was that. And the person who wrote about the successful shows. But Mark Hughes, you did do it, say things correctly. And what he's... Okay, that was the thing. Say, what is he building for? And I think we talked about it separately, there was a question. And I just see... The Kingdom Come S. Are we getting Kingdom Come? Because that's what this whole thing is about. It's not spelled right on here. It's supposed to be end instead of end game. But it says, what is he building toward? What do you guys feel he's building toward? That's where we're gonna end this. What is he building towards? And then we'll get out of here.
I don't
know. I the speculation that you see the S and we get Kingdom Come, I think that's fair. But to be quite honest, because they're talking about the first story arc is supposed to be Superman heavy, and all right, there's room for that. But then you got these other. I mean, your next major player has to be Batman. I mean, quite frankly, it's Superman, Batman. There's gonna be everybody else. So it really depends on how Batman comes in, and then I might have a better understanding. Like, okay, this is what we can expect to have in the 3rd act. But I think that's fair speculation, based on what we see right now of Superman. the way that the Shield looks. I think that's fair speculation.
I think the population, and this is just a point of view that I'm getting from reading the ether that people are saying and what they want. I think they're asking for the clear, obvious storyline that everybody wants to listen to, everybody wants to see.
What's
You know,
that?
Injustice, Gods Among Us.
Oh my God, you had to ruin it. All right.
How in the world? How in the world did you get that?
I'm saying,
How did you get that?
this is what I'm feeling people want. You asked a question, I gave you an answer, and so we were
What
summing
James
this up.
Gunn would want. So we getting out of here. Not with James Gunn. Yes, there are people who want. Just was it?
We go from Kingdom Come to an evil Superman. How?
Evil Superman. He's not evil per se. He's just trying to right the wrongs that the world are there. Somebody sometimes has
He's
to
evil. He's
grab
evil.
the
He's
reins
evil.
of power and take care of things. So wrong was done to him, and he's trying to correct that wrong.
Your best chance at that was when Zack Snyder was at the helm. Sorry, not gonna
There you
happen.
go. And that's it for us. Spinner rack.
Hey, if you like what you hear,
Out.
give the comment, subscribe. Spinner rack.
We are out.
Out.